The Des Moines City Council recently approved a rezoning request that will allow projects like these to move forward, at least with Sherman Associates. Let's see, there's also some more information. The Rumley Loss received from the Iowa Finance Authority, IFA, an installment of low-income housing tax credits, or LIHTCs, and those don't come very easily. I read an article here about a month ago about condo spaces going unleased in downtown Des Moines. They're unoccupied because of the lack of availability or access to these housing tax credits. And so they were able, this group were able to acquire them. But to qualify to live in those residents or those housing units, residents are subject to certain income guidelines. For instance, a single occupant, for example, must earn less than $30,780 a year to be eligible. Rents run $743 to $887 a month. And according to Sherman, they basically locate in areas that people ask them to work. Most often, neighborhood organizations or local business organizations call us. They like that we are responsive to neighborhood design issues, the neighborhood use issues. And according to him, they tackle some pretty tough stuff. So it looks like this group was able to avoid the whole situation that other groups weren't, that in case of unoccupied lofts and housing space. So good on them. You know, I guess these things have a way of working out different ways for different people. Hopefully, for the good of all of downtown and for the benefit of the city, we do want our downtown area to be very vibrant, very alive, filled with people, filled with events and places to go and things to do and things to see. And so hopefully there'll be greater cooperation on getting our rental spaces filled downtown. I'd like to see that for sure. All right, so I've got another article, and this is going back to the economy. Apparently, the economy looks different to different people, different days of the week, is what I'm finding. And so I'll put this on the camera and we'll take a look at it. Comeback rolls on for U.S. Iowa. And Iowa. This is from the Thursday, December 2nd, Des Moines Register. And let's see, the reason why I put that on the camera is because I wanted to also show something that came out, let's see, also in that same paper. Let's see. Positive reports confirm Iowa's economic upturn. Let's see. And according to the article, this quarter's survey results indicate that many companies are expanding their operations, possibly anticipating greater consumer purchasing activity in 2011, said Tom Aller, the group's chairman and president of Alliant Energy's Interstate Power and Light. We're still cautious, however, in our employment projections. And so basically that newspaper article is about the Iowa Business Council, and it reports on good news from employment, manufacturing, and agricultural fronts that keep the survey results strong. Underneath that article is another similar article, and I'll put it on the camera if I can get that. Yeah, okay. All right. U.S. economy on track for strong into 2010. So that's another pretty positive article. And it says factories are busier, construction spending is up, and auto sales are rising. And on Wednesday, the stock market had its best day since September after a report that the private sector hired the most workers in 3 years. Automakers are behind much of the growth in manufacturing, according to this article. Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler all reported double-digit sales increases for November. The news is particularly welcome for GM, which just returned as a public company. And so I wanted to go ahead and get those read and acknowledged, because then it just, 2 days later in the Saturday, December 4th Des Moines Register, something else came out, and this is from the Associated Press. And it says, November report, job growth is weak. So depending on which paper you read and who you talk to, and what day of the week and what perspective, the outlook seems to change. This article goes on to say the job market was weak all around. Stores, factories, construction companies, and financial firms all cut positions. The unemployment rate nudged closer to double digits again, 9.8%, after 3 straight months at 9.6%. The report caught economists off guard. They had predicted 150,000 new jobs based on a raft of recent positive reports that showed busier factories, rising auto sales, and a healthy start to the holiday shopping season. And so that's interesting, that what a difference that 2 days can make. And, there's all sorts of factors that go into or speculation into why things like that happen, possibly due to overseas sales, due to the holiday season, due to just a random fluctuation. But it does pay to use more than one source to base your decisions on, or to come to conclusions about our economy. Like I said, it seems to look different to different people, maybe based on the industry in which they occupy, sometimes even the state in which they're in. I mean, what happens in Iowa is not the same for what happens even in Illinois or California or another state. And so I thought that was just pretty interesting that they came out like that. I also have another article, and I took this from the November 21st Kansas City Star. And it's a copy, so I hope that you can see it. Let's see if I can get that on the camera. A generation in free fall. Okay, so bad career prospects for the young are bad news, period. The economy will grow slower, government will strain harder to make ends meet, and the ambitions of youth could slip away. The article says our wounded economy has 20-somethings limping into the job market. Large numbers are out of work. Even more look long and hard, only to find jobs that don't capitalize on their talents or pay much. They hoped for more and got less. Many of today's workaday newbies are left out and left to pay student loans with tips from waiting tables, left to compete against far more experienced folks who've been laid off. The article goes on to say it's a generation stalled, exiled from an economy, hung over from a crash set off by house flippers, mortgage scammers, and Wall Street shell games. A modest recovery is underway. Emphasis on modest. And so the outlook, according to the Kansas City Star, is very grim. And it's actually pretty mournful when you think about what's happening to the younger generation, that they don't have the same opportunities that were available for the older generation. We always want our young people to have more and to be better and to reach higher, but it seems, depending on what perspective that you look at, it's not happening, and it kind of makes you wonder, if we are taking a step backwards, as a nation instead of a step forward. And, if so, what are some options that we can use to, make up for the loss, the year's worth of loss, worth of productivity, worth of industrialization, and even just outlook, positivity. If we can make up for that soon, and I hope that we can. I really hate to see things like that.